Hey everybody, I am so excited to be here today because I have my buddy, my longtime bestie. Oh God, I hate myself for saying
that. It's okay. You can say it. I
get my longtime friend, Mark Diamond. Fantastic name. Is that your real name, Mark?
It is my real name. Mother given. Yes, Mark Chambers Diamond. That's the one.
And you, of course, are a fantastic baritone. One of the best baritones I've ever heard, actually.
So sweet.
Well, of course. Is that a Lego?
It is Legos.
It is a Lego. Yeah.
It's some Legos. Lauren and I got into doing Legos, as partner,
Yeah, partner activities.
It was awesome. Partner activities. And so we built like the Bird of Paradise. We have a bunch of other ones in the room. We have Singapore. We have a big typewriter that we're about to build.
Wow.
Pretty sweet.
Okay.
And that's a bonsai tree.
I love it. We tried to, anyway, this is off topic. Let's stay on the course.
Let's focus here.
Edit this. So you of course have played video games, but I do wonder, like, what's the last, I know you recently got a PlayStation, but would you call yourself a gamer per se?
I wouldn't really call myself a gamer anymore. I used to be a gamer, so I guess once a gamer, always a gamer. I still love games. I still watch a lot of streams. Mm-hmm. I played a lot of Dota, and so I still am into the professional scene a little bit. And so I still am it's still a passion, but I just don't have the time as much as I did. But I still do play from here, from
here and there,
now and again, here and there. So I just got done playing through God of War, which I absolutely loved. And I mostly do sort of casual story mode RPGs and stuff these days.
Yeah. You played a lot of Stellaris too. I remember I put that in my community post because you love Stellaris, right?
I love Stellaris. And one of the reasons I love it is because the first time I played it, it was late at night. I turned it on and I had my surround sound up, and the sound just takes you to a whole other world. The music is epic. Yeah. And so I remember texting my brother right away and just saying, "Oh my gosh, this soundtrack." So yeah, I love that game.
Well, when did you discover that you liked video game soundtracks? I mean, do you feel like, do you listen to video game soundtracks out of games? Not really, right?
I do some, but not a lot. It's not a regular thing. I mostly do it when I'm just wanting to relive a video game, go down a little nostalgia, or if something on the stream, because I catch the stream now and again, and if I get curious, I'll go and listen.
Oh, my streams, yeah.
On your stream, yeah. But mostly, I never really realized it. And actually, whenever I started listening to your channel and watching your channel, I started thinking more back on what my experiences were like, and I thought, wow, music informs so much of those things.
So much.
I didn't even realize it at the time. So yeah,
which is crazy though, because honestly, I mean, like, that's basically what opera is, and isn't it so wild to you that like opera and video games are basically synonymous in a lot of ways?
In so many ways. I mean, the storytelling. I mean, and really, the more I listen to it, the music is so operatic in video games. Yeah, it's epic.
It's been so interesting to like share this with like folks from like a slightly older generation and see their reactions to it, because I feel like for our generation, because we're both core millennials, like I think because we sort of grew up with it, like we don't care if a piece loops or something. We don't even probably care if it's synthetic per se. I mean, you and I have both sung on orchestras, around the world, but like,
sure.
To me, it's like, I don't care if it's synthetic so long as there's like an emotional connection and an emotional feeling to it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not. I mean, of course, I love the acoustic, the live thing as well. But I mean, that's why go out and catch your local orchestra doing a video game music night. I mean, it's epic. So yeah, I have no qualms with synthetic music.
Word. Okay. We'll ask you more questions about you later on.
Right.
God, I have so many tabs open. I don't even know where to start. But I think so today, I'll start here because this is where I randomly landed. But so today I was playing this game called Everhood. Do you like rhythm games?
Yeah, love it.
Okay.
I mean, so, I grew up playing, a bunch of Guitar Hero and stuff like that. But actually, I've played a few now since I played Rhythm and War, I think, on my Switch, and I think that it's the most recent.
God, I love rhythm. I have like a serious problem with rhythm. I love them so much. I think because like as singers, we like, everyone always thinks that singers don't have good rhythm, and for the most part, that tends to be accurate.
Yeah, it is.
But like rhythm games, like I always feel like I have to be good at this. I have to be good at this
right now.
And
like
Everhood, I must be.
I must be. Yeah.
Everhood is a really interesting game because you played Undertale, right?
Yeah.
So it looks similar. It has this like sort of 16-bit look.
Retro.
And then the boss fights, and every fight that you face is basically a boss fight, and it's all like you have to dodge music patterns. So you're dodging instead of hitting notes. You're actually dodging notes, which is really cool. And it's hard. It'd be like you've played Dark Souls, I think, right?
Oh, I played it for like 1 second, and then I was like, "This game is too damn hard.
It is too
I'm
damn
not
hard.
here. I'm too old for this shit."
But it's like essentially the Dark Souls of rhythm games. It's incredibly difficult and fun. So what I want to do, the music is really interesting though, and it's written in like the style that we know from our childhood. It's like 16-bit. So this song is called Revenge.
That song was incredible.
Well, that song was amazing. Yeah.
I don't know if you know, I have like a very soft spot for like 80s hair metal.
Do you?
I grew up listening to like hardcore music and metal music and stuff. And I had this friend who was into this sort of like new age retro hair metal stuff, like Dragon Force and stuff. And there are so many tropes in that music that is so good, that are so good, like the dueling guitars and the way the drum beat goes, but then they modernize it with things. It was good.
So something I really like, and I don't know how you feel about it, is when music goes sort of, we take something that we know and we shift it into something fresh and modern. And something that just came out recently was this character named Kafka in this Honkai Star Rail game. And the music is amazing. And well, the music actually is starting to get amazing. I haven't been the biggest fan of Honkai Star Rail's music. It's been nice, but they've had a couple pieces that have come out that have been really good. And so in her trailer here, they went with Vivaldi's Winter.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
It's really, really, really fucking cool.
All units, target spotting! Target spotting! Stick to the plan. Shoot on sight. I repeat, shoot on sight.
Don't be afraid. Listen to me. Wasn't it you who invited me? The silk is too fragile to be a threat. Unless you're more fragile than the silk. Case in point. Destiny has thousands of faces. Why does it choose to wear this one? Stealing a glance? Now then, where are you hiding? Sooner or later, the curtain has to fall. As for the ending, wanna take a guess? Heads or tails? What's your answer?
Yes, dude. Yes. That is so good. I mean, the animation is so good too.
I mean, yeah.
That does help. I mean, that is really great. But the music is epic. Yeah, I mean, I love that. I love how they're using that Vivaldi theme and sort of building in a super modern way, not even just like a little modern. Wasn't he like a...
Well, Kafka was a writer. He wrote in Metamorphosis and Franz Kafka.
Oh, yeah,
apparently the characters connected in some ways, but then Kafka is the main villain of Final Fantasy VI. So it's like, but I find it kind of interesting that, you've obviously you've performed in the Rake's Progress, right?
I never have, actually.
Well, you never have, but you know, I know Stravinsky and this whole idea of neoclassical has already been around. So it's sort of interesting that here we are in the year of our Lord 2023, and this stuff is evolving in such an interesting way, where we're able to take pieces like this, like Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, Clair de Lune, and turning it in Chopin pieces and turning them into video game tunes. And I wondered what your thoughts were on like the evolution of classical music in that realm, and
yeah,
because it's already been done in a way, but it's still changing.
Sure, it's already been done, but I mean, I think composers are just using the tools that are available to them, and I mean, I love it. I'm all about it. I think there is a big stigma of sort of making sure all sort of classical music, for lack of a better word, is sacred. Like no one can change it, no one can touch it, no one can build on it. It's like it is what it is, and it is perfect the way it is. And I don't disagree that it's special in its original form, but I think expanding on it, using those themes that were brilliantly created and, using them to inspire another audience. I have no problem with that at all. I love it. I embrace it. So I think this piece is great though. I think the breakdowns are epic. I love how it goes in and out. I love how it comes, you start without it and then it sort of comes out of nowhere and you're like, oh, here's this theme that everybody knows, even if you don't know where it's from. And then it goes away for a little while and it comes back. I was a big fan of that.
I think you hit on a point there. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it also, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but it reminds me of Ruby. Have you ever seen Ruby?
No.
There's this Rooster Teeth show. Anyway, it's a great show. Very unique animation, and the music is also really great in that show. But it has this sort of like punk rock, new age, some classical instruments also involved in it, and it just is. It's a fun vibe. So it's great. It's great.
It's so cool to me that I think you've obviously seen some of the stuff that's going on in the opera industry, canceled seasons and opera news shutting down or the opera guild, the Met Opera Guild shutting down and things. And it makes me think about, how stuck sometimes opera, the industry itself. And I know that you and I are both sort of out of it in our own ways. It does feel like there is some sort of limiting process that's going on within the opera industry that I feel like something like Kafka's piece, this trailer, is actually bringing classical music to an audience that may or may not A, care about going to see a live performance, and B, may not even have access. And so totally in a way, it's like, let me give you something that's really beautiful that you and I might know about, but they don't know. And so there's this exposure that's occurring. So, do you think that that's a good thing? And do you think that there are lessons that maybe opera in a modern time period can learn from?
Absolutely. Especially in America. We just have close to no classical music education earlier on in early childhood development and all of that. Whereas in Europe, people are going to the opera in elementary school. Yeah, I think finding other ways to get this stuff out and let people know how great it is I think it's an amazing thing. And yeah, I do think there's plenty to learn. I think there's certainly a lot of challenges though. I think the big challenges that arise are the technology. I think about this production that I just went and saw with a, world-class director who is a genius. And I sort of got a little bit of insider information because I knew someone in the cast, and they were saying the director is a complete genius, brilliant, incredible ideas. I just don't think the opera world has caught up yet. I don't think they can handle his ideas. They can't even process them and put them onto the stage. And that was visual stuff, of course, but yeah, I think in many ways there is that barrier. I think live music, it has a lot of, there are ways to do it. You see the Steve Jobs opera, for example, they're using click tracks, they're using bass, all that, drum kits with the orchestra, but it's really quite an undertaking to do. And it takes a lot of resources that opera houses don't have built in. So anyway, but I do think there's something to learn. I do think we need to, as a community, invite people in using these venues that are available to us. So yeah,
whatever it takes in a lot of ways,
whatever it takes. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, apparently I listened to Mirror Mirror from Ruby. I didn't really, I thought it was called RWBY. So,
yes.
So yes. I listened to Mirror Mirror, which is super cool. Someone said Mark just got 20 times cooler. Didn't know that was possible.
And yes, I have played Kingdom Hearts. That was back in the day. I saw that. That's an incredible game. That's a classic.
I'm so scared to put it on the channel just because of the rules and stipulations for that. But there is some absolutely gorgeous music in that. Although I didn't play after Kingdom Hearts 2. I do have them downloaded if at some point I feel like it's time
Yeah.
Have you ever played Chrono Trigger? I just started playing Chrono Trigger on the channel.
No.
It's a great one. It's very fun.
Chrono Trigger? Isn't it Chrono? Wait, wasn't there like a shooter back in the day that was like a platformer?
No,
and you like no, it's not.
No.
Chrono Cross.
Chrono Cross was
RPG.
is like the sequel, which came out late. Yes, it came out later.
That's what I played. I played Chrono Cross.
Chrono Cross, yeah. Same composer, Yasunori Mitsuda.
Okay.
And Chrono Trigger was like one of the RPGs that like defined a generation, and people to this day say that it's probably one of the best RPGs to ever exist. And I just started. It's super charming, super sweet. Yeah, anyway, that's a whole separate discussion. So what a great game. Well, you played a little bit of when I convinced you to download Final Fantasy 14, but we didn't end up playing very much of it.
No.
You certainly didn't get to see Heavensward, but this is a really awesome vocal track.
Wow. That was a lot. Like that was incredible. I mean, it was 5 minutes, I think, but
Yeah.
and you went through so many scenes in that one trailer. I mean, I can't believe the different worlds that they created throughout that.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my Lord, that vocal line at the beginning. I'm sorry, that was mean. That is a high.
It's high.
line. That is really high, and they put text up there, which is really tricky. She did a great job. I was like, whoa, that is a hard thing.
It's a solid high C at least.
Oh yeah, it must be. But it set the scene so beautifully.
Yeah.
And honestly, I almost feel like there are some composers that do this on purpose, where they put people in uncomfortable ranges in their voice because they want it to create this different effect. And in this instance, I mean, we're dealing with high fantasy. So, I mean, like, why not? Give us some crazy tessitura, really high range that makes the voice feel almost otherworldly in a way. And I think it worked really well. And I just think it was cool how clear the sections were when the moods were in different places. I feel like I didn't need to be watching it. I could have just told you what we were looking at. You know, this is the rest. This is the calm before the storm. You know, this is the battle theme. You know, these sorts of things. They're so clear, but they're so unique. So I love it.
Yeah. No. Cool. All right, let's shift gears. I love especially the ending there. It really is like a dump of serotonin there, where you're just like, oh.
So epic. Oh so man, the choir just like full out. I mean, it felt like a Beethoven sort of just just going for it. It was epic.
I know. All right, we're gonna shift gears here quite a bit. We're gonna go to this fantastic piece from Killer Instinct called Hinnamatoom. Mick Gordon, he's the same guy that did the Doom OST. And it doesn't feel like a caricature either. It feels really like embracing that Native American aspect of musical aspects with hard rock and, you know, this hardcore elements.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I loved it. Oh man, it's been so long. I've kind of almost forgot the beginning, but like I did not see the drop coming. I mean, it got me off guard. I'm sure the video is like me, like, like I did not see that coming. I mean, it was really cool. I mean, the way that they built it in and sort of threw it in there out of nowhere. But yeah, I mean, they did so many things. It felt really, it honored, I think, the tradition in so many ways. When I hear stuff like that, I always wonder where they get the vocalists for these things.
Right.
I want, you know, they're so talented, but it's such a specific style of singing, and it's really great. I mean, I think it's so cool near the end where they came in and started singing near the end. Also, oh my God, that flute was going off in the middle. At one point, I thought it was Anchorman. You know, I thought the guy was just playing the jazz flute. It was intense, but I loved it.
It is incredible, like the variety of styles that can sort of exist, not only in video games, but also that we have musically, you know, when talk about folk music and things like that. It's really fun that there is so much music that has been created that is not related to classical music at all, but that still has, like, you know, this really, I don't know, it's an amazing thing, the world we live in, where there's so much music everywhere you turn. You just have to look. So
much. And to think like how much somebody had to invest to create that music. And that's just to like think of the idea of the music and put it onto paper, and then to invest in building your craft enough and your reputation enough to then get it out into the world and to get somebody to hire you to do it. I mean, it's just so much that one human had to do to get it to be in existence. Just wild, mind-blowing to think about it when you look at the billions of songs on Spotify.
So I discovered Ace Combat not too long ago when I started the channel. Yeah. And I didn't really know about Ace Combat. I just thought it was like, when I got the Patreon request, I was like, oh God, this is going to be rough. But actually it has some of the coolest video game music coolest music I've ever heard. Nice. And this particular track is a predecessor. It's like the precursor to the final, the like culmination of this track, which is called Archange. But today we're going to be listening to something called Soul Squadron, which is the name of this squadron of fighters that are led by this guy Mihai, and he's the Archangel, if you will, and the Soul Squadron kind of protects him. And the music, you never heard any Ace Combat, right?
Nah.
Yeah, all right, cool. You're in for a treat. You vibe with that?
Yo.
So you like all these tracks. I have
I'm
not
gonna love
given you any.
everything. I'm a sucker for this stuff. I know you picked all the good stuff anyway. So anyway, no, that is so good. I don't know when I didn't catch on to it until about a minute in, but there's a that guy's freaking, let me see, right foot must have been tired. The bass drum.
Oh,
I mean, he was
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
for like 3 minutes. He did it, and then everyone But it's the heartbeat, right? It just
Yeah. The adrenaline of that feeling of flying and then being in dogfight.
Oh man, it's just this like go momentum. We're moving forward. There's no choice but forward. That's the way we're going. That's it. I love that feeling. That's what I'm here for.
It's interesting though, because actually this is almost a mirror of this other song, Archange, that's much more advanced. It's a much more like fleshed out track. Like it's interesting how it's essentially the skeleton of Archange on top of, you know what? Just for science, might as well, since we just listened to it, and I love Archange, and we're here for a while, so why not?
Yeah. The other thing I'll say is, before we go on to this thing, the other thing that was so cool to me was when it dropped out, when the bass drum dropped out, it turned into this like, it felt like you were free falling. It was like, it almost felt like you were just gliding. So it was just like, it felt like you were in the air. And then at the end with those like cool effects that sounded like a chopper coming in.
Yeah.
It was cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Anyway, go. What's the experiment?
So the experiment is, chat, I just dropped that for you. Chat, so I think I sent it to you here, Mark. This is Archange. Yep. So we just listened to Soul Squadron, which is directly connected to the Soul Squadron as a whole. And now we're going to listen to Mihai's theme called Archange. And you can hear how the skeleton is actually layered on top of what we just heard will be layered on top of Archange. And I want to hear if you pick it up. It's also such a fucking good song that it's like, it's so good. So that's the same. I also love the Latin chant thing.
Oh yeah,
you don't get it anywhere and not outside of.
Well, and it's all male voices, so it's this idea of this sort of brotherhood in the sky kind of a thing. Just
here comes the build. Oh, not yet. The bubbling.
the words too.
Yeah.
So good. When the female voices come in, it's to protect us.
Yeah. And the engine roar of the engine there. You hear that? Strong beats.
Mixed beat or two.
Oh yeah.
Man, wait. So, is there a sci-fi element to the game?
Not really. I mean, it's all larger than life. So I mean, like, yeah, it's always like, you know, someo's trying to blow something up, and you have to
At
stop.
the
them
end,
from
there they went
nuclear
into
war.
space, though. At the end, that was like so Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I love it, man. It's so
Yeah.
good. I mean, you're right. It is opera. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
opera. I mean, you've got really clear characters built. They're in the orchestra, they're in the different voice parts. And then by the time you get to the end, that's like Mozart. That's what Mozart did. He set this, he gave you this theme, he gave you that theme, he gave you this theme. And then at the end, he just threw them together.
Yeah.
And that's when everybody comes in at the end. It just feels like this sort of perfect chaos. And man, I had goosebumps whenever that happened.
It's like modern day oratorio. I've mentioned this to multiple people that have come in. And so it's so funny because I got a comment once that was like, what's with all the ace combat? And I'm like, have you listened to it, man? Because like this shit is like really good. Like, and I think for us classical musicians, you've sung how many Bach St. Matthew Passions have you sung? How many St. John Passion? Like, this is the stuff that like you take that and like evolve it, and all of a sudden here you are. It blows my mind.
Oh man, it's so good. And oh god, at the end when it's terrifying. Like the way it's set, you make you scared to think about what's going to rain down on you if they don't protect you. So I don't know. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Oh, and then at the beginning, the breaths. There was this. It just felt like these swells.
Yeah.
It was so good. Yeah, I love it.
All right, cool. All right, shifting gears again. Someone wanted me to play you something. Oh yeah, here it is. From looks like, where is it? Hearts of Iron 4. The main theme from Hearts of Iron, which is similar to Stellaris. It's like a strategy game. There's a couple strategy game tracks in here because people were like, Mark likes Stellaris? Well, he'll love that.
I appreciate y'all. Hey, they're just looking out for me.
What a military march, huh? Gotta have the slow section. It was really beautiful. That was the first time I heard it too. Obviously, it's a little repetitive in the sense that like it certainly is like pleasant and lovely, and you get the sense of the militaristic approach. Right, it has this very much this martiale sound quality. Mm-hmm. Some of the voice leading for me personally like were really satisfying to listen to, but I do feel like it got like about like halfway in when it got to the slow B section before we recapped to the A, I was like, okay, this is a very long 5 minutes. But that's not to say it was bad. It was very good.
Yeah, like, no. I get it. No, I was into it. I mean, I felt like I'm a sucker for brass. I mean, I always have been. My dad was a trumpet player, and I played a little bit, but I was never good. But I just there's a sound of just like a bugle that just makes me weepy. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. So and so I don't know, there was something so nostalgic, like nostalgic America, military. Saving, that was so like tug on your heartstrings. And you're right, it's some of the voice leading that did it. Was
when that chorus came in, but it was like under the surface there. I was like, that's nice.
At first I was like, wait, is that a chorus? And then I was like, yeah, it is. I like it. So and it told a story. I agree that it stretched out, but I mean, I liked the B section actually. I mean, I was long, but to me the B section was loss. The B section was, do we get back up? Or do we just stay down? And so elongating that, Yeah, I think it worked for me. And then when it comes back,
let's go. We got this. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. No matter what, we forge forward. So yeah, I think it was pretty cool.
Well,
I agree it was long though. So a lot of these are a little long.
They're all about 5 minutes. They're all about 5 minutes.
And I think it's just, that's the nature of video game music, is that you have other things occupying your mind when you're listening. So it's just, when you're just listening, it can get a little long if you don't have something going on. I do think that like a lot of these main themes, I wonder if they sort of cover the like hero's journey, that Joseph Campbell sort of thought process where, the hero starts a certain way. And I feel like every Marvel movie has that formula now too, where it's like, hero, oh no, hero, but for real, like... And whatever, Mahler did it too. They all did it.
but it's interesting how like a main theme is going to serve a very different purpose than like something that's in the meat of a conflict. You know what I mean? Like kind of like in the way that an overture would maybe like set the scene. You know what I mean?
I'm the one with the Furby for a mic.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. We got a lot of more tracks to go through.
Let's go, man.
There's no way we'll get through all of these, but
we'll get a couple. We'll get some more though.
So Sonic games are kind of confusing to me because I don't know them super well. But this one's from Sonic Frontiers. It's called "I'm Here," and it's like very much like a vocal song. Let's dive in and check it out, because this will be a new one for me too. So some of these I'm reacting to as well. So
yeah, let's do it, man. Let's react together.
Follow me, I'm standing on the border of everything. Listen close, can you hear the spirits sing lost messages of long ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't from in the actual game though. Apparently, it was an EP.
I don't care. That song was sick. Dude, that song was like my freaking. Somebody said in the chat, it sounds like 2000s, not gonna lie. You are right.
Yeah.
That was Warped Tour, early 2000s, no doubt. And I was there, like fanboying my little heart out. I loved Screamo back then.
Oh, God.
All that. Oh, it was like Under Oath. But then that modulation.
I know.
That was wild.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it twice.
Yeah.
All right, the B section was weird.
Yeah.
Where they went into like just remember when they just randomly changed songs in the middle though?
Yes, I recall. Yeah.
I was kind of like, okay, you can't just change songs. I mean, you gotta like connect it somehow. But it was still good. I was still into it. Okay,
cool. Well, you say, it's funny you mentioned changing songs. I don't have an opinion on that song, honestly. That was not the type of music I listened to as a kid. So for me, I was like, all right, I'm vibing, but I wasn't like crazy about it like you are, which is.
I like those vocals. I'm
the
a
vocals
big
are
fan.
great. Yeah.
That's like how I learned to sing. Seriously, was like
Really?
singing along with stuff like that. This like where you're like really on your breath. I mean, they're so high.
Yeah, it's insanely high. So you learn. Oh wait, but that's an interesting thought because when it comes to technique, there are multiple different techniques, right? We're talking like we could talk opera, which is about raising the soft palate, lowering the larynx, and having air support, and then there's the musical theater, which is the sort of on the mic, thinking about life, right?
Sure.
And then there's this, which is what you just demonstrated. How does that even work?
I mean, it's full voice singing. I mean, so many of them, they're like, when they're singing, they're really, like really giving it.
But
and all I had to learn to do was basically do that, but lift my palate. And then I was like, there you go. It just turns over, accesses some more resonance. But I was learning to like sing on these long belts, like singing along with these people. And they have some crazy voices, some of them. That person just sang like a freaking high G. I don't even know how they did that. Like, it was wild. So it was good. I liked it.
All right, cool.
It's
Good.
my thing.
I'm glad you liked it. Let's do... Ooh. Yeah, we'll switch back to classical here. Let's listen to Lichdragon Fortissax from Elden Ring. You know this little tune? Oh, you're in for a treat.
It's from Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another game I didn't play because I heard it was
hard.
Miserably hard.
If chat hadn't got me through it, it took me 6 hours. Like, I think it was like 3 full streams to beat Millennia Blade of Mikola, which is why right here I have a picture of her, because after I got done, when I beat her, I just was sad. I was sad that I lost the dopamine of like trying to beat her.
The journey was no longer happening.
Yeah, so I immortalized her on my wall.
Wow.
All right, well, let's check this one out. I think you're going to really vibe with this. kind of intense.
Very intense. Yeah. I mean, super intense. It's just nonstop. It's again, I think it's a few minutes too long if we're talking about a casual listen.
Yeah.
But like in the middle of a battle or in the middle of, watching some epic, cutscene.
Yeah. When you're fighting a dragon with with two giant thundering red like lightning bolts as weapons and stuff, and he's like, it's like it's
That's
really
so
intense
good.
track. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so intense, and the organ.
You just don't hear that. You just don't hear that in modern music ever, really. Like
that gave me like Castlevania vibes.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah. That's with the organ and everything. But man, epic.
Next up, I want to keep doing like kind of stuff that I haven't done before.
Yeah, it's great.
Dark Souls 3 main theme. No. Yeah. Okay. Code Vein, Memory of the Lost. Let's check this out. Well, it certainly is a loop. But you know, I think it's sort of interesting with these themes because obviously, like the main emotion that one can grasp from that is the sound of sadness, right? You know, there's like a melancholy, there's loss there, and it's interesting how melody is like such a driving factor in getting us as humans to understand emotional context, you know. And I feel like that piece in particular, even though it looped for quite a bit, that melody was the through line that I think carried it and allowed it to like sort of permeate a little bit and allow you to feel. I had not heard that track before either.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, it's a nice track. There was nothing particularly remarkable about it for me.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like it could have been any number of anime style RPG or something. But I don't know. I don't know Code Vein at all, and I'm not saying that that's what that is, but I'm just saying
it actually is
into that genre.
It's like an anime Dark Souls. So.
Oh, well, there you go. It's just got that sort of, I don't know. I just felt like I was in that world, and but it had some the melody was really nice. Some nice elements. I just feel like, you know, they had choir that came in at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was aight.
It was aight. Let's listen to some Monster Hunter. This is Magnamalo's theme from Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter is really interesting to me because each of the characters essentially have their own motives, which is really neat because they essentially, you know, like you get to like understand and hear not only the fighters like sort of galvanization, but then you also hear this like larger than life creatures like entire personality and like spirit in the music, which is really cool. So this is Magnamalo. I don't know Magnamalo. I've never played. I've only played the beginning like 10 minutes of Rise, so I haven't really dove in. But let's check this out.
jamming, man. I'm
It's
jamming.
it's a good loop. Yeah, that's a dope.
That is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, just like, it just has some of the classic tropes that I love. Like that. Again, it's this. There's always this instrument that doesn't stop. And this and it was the strings. I shake it,
Yeah.
And I just love it. It's like the fight's got to go on, and then they come in with that Japanese like guitar, that like 3-string guitar. I don't know what it's called, but it is that like bring sound.
Yeah.
Was that supposed to be?
It's a shamisen.
Was that supposed to be the baddie?
Yeah, well, so he Magnamalo is like, well, as you see from the picture, Magnamalo is like this like tiger, but like with a samurai face. So I think they're really leaning into, and I think Rise takes place in some sort of a world that's sort of feudal ancient Japan style. So, you really see that, you know what I mean? And I love that, the combo of orchestra, Western with Eastern instrument, like folk instrument combined into one. It's like delivers on a really another level. It's very cool.
They even threw in like the wooden flute in there, and they were playing with some of those tonguings, like the thing that they were doing. That's cool. I like that a lot.
That's a great tune. Let's listen to this. Awesome. I love this tune. Kind of Salvation.
All right, here we go. We're ready for NieR. Beautiful, man. Yeah, I mean, haunting melody a little bit, but also very like, I guess it's more the voice. There's something about the quality of the voice that's so
pure.
I don't know, pure and delicate, and yeah, just beautiful. But yeah, it's a beautiful strophe, and again, they just use some really neat elements throughout it. But yeah, overall, I'm a big fan of that. I can tell there's a bunch of music in that game from what the chat is saying.
Oh, you should listen to NieR Automata, just for fun. I mean, that's from NieR Replicant and Gestalt. Okay. They're the two of this basically same game, but with some slight variations in character stuff. But overall, the main story beats are all the same, I think. And it's interesting to me because it's like, it's a strophic piece that we know strophic from art song, and piano and a simple piano. That's nothing new. And, it's also interesting to me is that this language is called the Chaos language, and it's an amalgamation of languages. It's essentially, it's not gibberish because they created this Chaos language that
I was going to ask, but I didn't want to look ignorant. I was like,
no.
What language is this? Is this like there were like English syllables and there were Asian
sometimes
syllables.
There's French syllables in there as well.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It's called the Chaos language, and I think it speaks to a broader idea that like vocal singing with lyrics. It's funny because a lot of people get thrown off by opera because they're like, oh, well, I don't understand the language. Well, surprise, surprise. But if you go listen to NieR, you're not going to understand any of that language.
Right.
And
right.
But I love that because you can infer what you will with those lyrics. You don't need to know what it means in order to feel, anything.
Yeah, and it also had this sort of timeless quality to it. Like it could have been a folk song from any land, or it was just, yeah, I loved it. Yeah, very, very classic feeling to it. And I love when people use the piano, like in like actual settings with orchestra and other things. Have you heard the have you heard Child of Light?
No, I just bought it actually. I just bought it. I heard it's a great soundtrack.
The opening theme to that is just like
really?
Yeah, it just gets me every time. It's so beautiful. The music throughout is so gripping. Highly recommend. So
okay.
I mean, it's such a beautiful game.
Let's listen to Dishonored's main theme. Have you played Dishonored?
Negative.
Yeah, great game. It's a great game. Hey, it's only 2 minutes. How about that?
Hey-o.
Before we listen to Dishonored's main theme, Mark, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself to everybody? Like, who are you? Who are you in the world? What's your story? Sure. Don't not too long. Like 30 seconds.
I'm not going to get carried away here. But yeah, I live in Texas. I live in Central Texas. I teach at Baylor University. I'm a voice teacher there, and I teach singing, and I teach how to pronounce languages, and I teach about song. I will soon teach about song literature and stuff like that.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
Yeah, that's going to be next semester. So we actually had a new colleague who's French, and so he's going to take over the French diction, which
he's going to talk in the French diction.
He is going to do this. And so now I'm going to be doing that. And so I live here with my wife and my 2 chihuahuas, and I sing a lot. I ride my mountain bike even more, and I try and get on my gaming systems whenever I have a free minute.
Has this experience, I mean, obviously I know you've played plenty of games in your day, but like, has this experience sort of shifted your perspective on video games? Because there's been a lot of tracks you haven't heard. You pretty much haven't known any of these tracks, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
is it what you expected?
It's somewhat what I expected. I mean, but that's only because I'm a fan of yours. So I've enjoyed watching. I've enjoyed watching a lot of this stream and just watching several of the videos and learning about the genre. But that being said, let's pretend like this is my first introduction to the channel, and my introduction to the channel did change my perspective on things. I mean, I knew it was there. I knew the music was there. I just, like I said a minute ago, or 2 hours ago at this point, but like I said at the beginning of the stream, I didn't realize how important the music was in my experience, even at the time. And I think a lot of people don't. I think probably a lot of your viewership can attest to that. And that's why I love what you're doing. It's like getting the word out there. Like, this stuff is good. There is some really, really great art being made in these environments. And frankly, we said this already, but I wish orchestras and operas would take a cue and write an opera with one of these composers who knows how to write for what people want. Melody. And it's like, it's beyond melody. It's people. I get that we want to challenge ourselves and we want to progress and we want to grow, but there are things that we know and we love and we respond to, like tropes in music, for example. I mean, listen to the I forget what the game was now, but the one with the tank on the front.
Hearts of Iron 4. Yeah.
Hearts of Iron. That game, I mean, that was such a stereotypical piece, but I promise you, if you played that in a concert hall, you're going to be, that's full of veterans,
absolutely. 1,000,000%.
They're going to just, their heartstrings are just going to be ripped apart. But so
why are we bemoaning too? The one thing that I always see is like, oh, well, they did their best or they're trying it. God, the amount of pieces I sang from modern composers that were absolutely terrible, and then you pivot like over to video games that is writing like a beautiful like melodic ascension, or like something that like obviously I understand that writing for the voice can be difficult, but I mean these composers are not like just like, although some of them like Nobuo Uematsu was not trained, he learned it on the fly, like he learned as he went, but like it's just crazy to me that like we live in the arts in 2023, and especially in the classical music world, where it's like, it's an excuse like, oh, well, I gotta write this recitativo, this aria, and it has no melody.
Right.
But meanwhile, video games are doing just that. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And it's like, guess who's listening? Guess whose music is getting listened to?
In video games. Yeah.
Video games. Of course, they have a vehicle that's pretty popular.
Right.
Well, but the vehicle became popular in part because of the music.
Yeah.
Because of that.
It's the It's the.
And opera has that. They have a collaboration with a lot of other art forms. They have acting. They have drama.
There's plenty of visual aspects.
There's plenty of visual. There can be way more art. There can be dance. There can be all sorts of. There can be light show. There could be projections. Which we're sitting here and being a little, bemoaning this whole fact, like you said. But there are companies that are pushing the boundaries and are trying and are trying to reach new audiences in that way. And so I'm grateful for that. But I do feel like there's a lot of resistance to it, and academia is no better. I mean, they're maybe worse, because it's tradition.
Yeah.
So I think there's value in tradition, but I think there's also a lot of value in what we can learn from industries like this.
Well, and one of the things that I've been advocating, and I'm sure you know this by now, my mantra is the idea that like a lot of these pieces that I've played for you, not all of them, obviously, not Kafka's techno version of Winter, but these pieces can coincide and works in tandem with symphonic, like Beethoven's Fifth or Mahler, whatever.
Absolutely.
And I think
we can.
The thing that I've heard from people that are in the world is that, well, it has to make sense. It has to fit like a certain like a certain theme or something. And I don't necessarily believe that's true. It's just that there is a misconception that video game music is somehow inferior
not serious
not serious to what we're doing in the classical world. And it's frankly, it's bullshit.
It's elitist. It's elitist.
It is elitist, yeah.
And that is the one. I mean, that really bugs me. The elitist nature of things. So, I mean, it's one of the reasons I don't play golf as much as I used to, because I just I can't handle the gatekeeping, and I feel like opera is the same way in so many ways. So, anyway, but yeah, there's some really incredible music in here for sure.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm happy that I could have shared this. All right, let's keep listening.
Happy to be shared with.
Let's all right, so we said Dishonored main theme. See, now that could be longer. I wouldn't mind another minute of that.
I was ready for that to have a whole like
let's
development section. Like,
yeah.
Man, that was cool.
Yeah.
The didgeridoo.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was eerie.
Dishonored is a game that's all about, the plague is infesting, the rats are infesting the people. There's a lot of political intrigue, and you I have to protect something or something. I played it a long time ago and I can't remember any of the details, but essentially you have these powers and you stealth. Basically it's a stealth game, but it's one of these games where you basically can do anything you want. You can go in loud, you can go in quiet, you can go multiple different ways.
Sure.
And you really feel that like the creep of that like death right on your shoulder, you know what I mean? And also that mission at hand at the same time. It's really intense. It's really cool.
Well, it was this sort of, there was this sort of stasis of like, you don't know if like everything's about to explode at any moment. And I even near the end, I started getting a little like goosebump. You're like, oh, we're about to throw down. And then I remembered you saying it was 2 minutes, and I was like, oh crap, it's probably almost over. Dang it.
That's a really good piece. Really good piece. Okay, let's listen to. So right now I'm working my way through. I think I'm almost done. I'm working my way through this game called Outer Wilds, which has been a challenge for sure. It doesn't do any hand holding whatsoever. You are exploring planets, trying to solve a mystery. It's hard.
I like hand holding.
I like hand holding.
Show me where to go.
You want me to go right there? I will walk from here to there, and I will do it. But
put a marker on the top.
but the soundtrack is beautiful, and I'd really love for you. This is Echoes of the Eye from this is from the DLC. My first time hearing it. Echoes of the Eye, Elegy for the Rings.
Very cool. Sort of weird, but it was like not necessarily like a incredible piece of art, but like set a mood for sure.
Yeah. What an interesting piece. Like I almost like rejected it because it made me uncomfortable. You know, and that's that like that Benjamin Britten essence where you like listen to a piece for the first time and you're like, I don't like that. But then you're like, wait, let me dig. And especially when that melody came in, it
sounded like it was played on a theremin or something.
Yeah. But it does elicit a question about how like powerful music is at like putting us in a state of being emotionally. You know? that like most other
me-
things can't do.
For me, there was this rhythmic effect in the near the second half that felt like it was like
Crunch, yeah, like a wave.
yeah, and it was like there was something so non-musical about it. Like I felt like there were a lot of non-musical elements in that. Like they were just sort of sound, and it made for an interesting environment.
Well, it goes into.
Go.
I mean, ambient music is such a dominant part of video game music on the whole, too. So I think it's also really interesting that you bring that up, because it's like, what other genres of music, like semi-genres of music, like have like a whole sections of them dedicated to like ambient sound. You know what I mean? Right. And it's a very interesting thing when it's done on instruments, too.
That was interesting. You hadn't heard that one?
No, I hadn't heard that one. That was I wouldn't listen to it before bed.
Nah, I think we have to listen to something else now. But
completing the circle from Ori and the Blind Forest.
Bro, are you allowed to listen to God of War?
No.
Okay, damn. That opening sequence. Oof. I went back and re-listened to the music alone. Go listen to it sometime.
Oh, you mean Memories of Mother? Memories of Mother? Oh yeah. Eivor is just incredible. Don't you like how you feel like it's just carrying you along the path?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, I love that.
So peaceful.
It's great. I like pretty much everything about that, but I think it's interesting how often, like, as we're listening to so many things, how effective instrumentation is in this genre, and especially like they're like the use of the flute. And
yeah, I know that's like multiple times we've heard the flute. Yeah,
like the flute's all over, and it's really useful. I mean, it's such a primal sound. You know, it's just air being blown between wood. You know, when it comes right down to it.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool how they use that. I've actually, every time I see that game, I think, oh, wow, that game looks beautiful, and I think I should play it.
It's beautiful, yeah.
So
It's beautiful.
Maybe I should.
Maybe you
I don't
should.
know.
Maybe you should. Yeah, no, I agree. Like there's something about like orchestration and like instrument choice that can also indicate to us as listeners and viewers how to infer how we feel, because the cello is going to give us a completely different feeling than the flute. You know, the flute is a much more innocent and sometimes at times religious sound, and much in the same way that if you hear an organ, depending on the context, it can feel a totally different way. You know what I mean? Like, And speaking of organ, like to just play you something totally different, just for the sake of science. This is the one piece that I've played for every single person.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Bro, that was awesome.
I know.
That was awesome. Yeah. I feel like Okay, that rhythm at the beginning in the first section, it was like dido dado dido bedo ba
Yeah.
ba da da dee da da. I felt like I was in like a Destiny's Child song or something for a second. But, wow. Like that was so good, and then the sequencing at the end. I mean, it's like
insane.
kind of insane.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
And also the fact that like I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Like I want to play this for every single person I know because I heard this, and the start of this actually there's a slower. Also, look at this random white hair that is just like jutting out.
You're getting old.
It is crazy. I saw it today and I was like, oh my god, this thing.
And you're keeping it. You're like, I'm keeping that for stream.
I'm trimming it tomorrow.
Look good. Now, do you have 3 of them? You can braid them together.
Yeah.
Just a little gray braid.
It's just insane. It's insane. And I also think like this is like, for me, like there's nothing that gets me going more than this basically the whole theme of this entire video has been the idea that we take something that is old and then dump something brand new on it. And then all of a sudden you have this fantastic like amalgamation of something, it's like so satisfying.
So freaking satisfying. There are a couple accounts that I've seen on Instagram that like take classical music and like put beats to them and stuff.
The rap. Yes, I've seen.
Yes,
it.
And it's like it's very similar to this in some ways. It's like if we were to use this genre that's already very popular and fuse it, we could get a lot more interest in this. Yeah, so
I think so. And metalheads would totally vibe with so much classical music.
Oh man, look, metal bands were putting orchestras in their music before anyone else was. I mean, it was like the creepy and organs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know. Okay. Awesome. Let's see. This one. Okay, you're gonna pick. There's 2 tracks. What's happening? What's that? What is that? Whoa.
Oh, sorry, that was me.
Okay, you're gonna pick of 4. You're gonna pick Persona 5, Rivers in the Desert, Wild Arms Into the Wilderness, Chris Christodolo's They Might As Well Be Dead, or Deus Ex Human Revolution soundtrack Icarus main theme. So you've got Persona 5, Rivers in the Desert. Maybe Chad will help you. Into the Wilderness from Wild Arms. They Might As Well Be Dead from Risk of Rain 2. Or Icarus from Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Well, I'm so confused. I don't want to do the wilderness wild things because I feel like they shouldn't have put the word wild in there twice.
Wild Arms Into the Wilderness? Oh, Into the Wilderness.
And then I think They Might As Well Be Dead. I was sort of being drawn to that anyway.
That's what you're feeling pulled to?
And then I heard somebody say it, and so I'm gonna go for it. I'm just gonna go for that.
All right, They Might As Well Be Dead, and then I'll end with Journey from Destiny 2. Okay, cool. All right, They Might As Well Be Dead from Risk of Rain 2, Survivors of the Void DLC. Wow. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That was a vibe.
Bro, that was a whole vibe from start to stop, my dude.
Oh my
Like,
God.
it starts out and I feel like I'm in like Miami Vice or something. I need my like aviators on.
Yeah.
I'm just, oh man. And then when that beat drops, you just feel like a total G. You're like, yeah, this is where I belong.
Yeah. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's like galvanizing, but like it's so interesting because when we galvanize music, we can go like super fast or we can go kind of slow like this in this like slow ramp with that like the very like I guess Indian flavor of like, you know, that drum and just felt very zen and very like, well, I shouldn't say zen because but very like meditative. Yeah. And then this like slow lurch into like rising up into like deciding to take a stand and being like, you know what, here I go, baby. And there was like sensuality in there too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Oh no, this thing is a slow jam, bro. I thought I was like, oh, okay, we got that tempo, it's all good. And then this is what I thought at the beginning with the drums and stuff. I was going to like Rain Dance or something. Oh, because Risk of Rain. I don't know if it's anywhere near there, but it was like praying for rain. We're trying to get some rain, and then it's like, fuck it, I'm out. I don't care if it's raining.
Oh God.
The little like the guitars and thirds.
Yes.
Just like,
oh my God.
Playing their little Santana vibes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, dude.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, all right. Well, let's end this on Destiny 2. A totally different vibe, very slow and plotty, but very beautiful all the same. Mark, thanks a ton for, you know, obviously like any chance I get to spend time with you is time well spent. And, you know, we've known each other for near on freaking 15 years almost. Could it be?
To think
no,
about,
2000.
No, a little over 10 years. A little over 10 years. 2011.
Yeah. 2011. Yeah. No.
12 years. Isn't that when we were?
Yeah, 2011. Yeah, 2011. So, you know, I'm really grateful. You're the first guest that I brought on that has had much more experience than others in video games in general. So it was really cool. And,
cool.
You know, this is fun. Chat, thank you so much I'm sorry about obviously for the problems, but I hope that you also enjoyed this live thing. I'll work this out so it's a little bit better for the future. But, you know, thanks so much for just hanging with us and letting us sort of vibe and talk and being an active part of this discussion. It was really fun to spend time with you as well, per usual. You see me every day, so like, sort of like whatever. Marco's old news now. Mark Diamond's here.
No, Marco's never old news. No, I'm grateful as well, y'all. Seriously, this has been super fun. I've never been on any sort of live stream situation before like this, and it feels fun to interact with y'all and listen to music with y'all. It's cool to look at the chat and hear them talking about the same pieces we're listening to and just know we have a big community of people out here loving it.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I really found is that, like, in general, wow, I love that 10 people left while you were giving your spiel. Unbelievable, the disrespect.
Unbelievable.
The disrespect.
I'm gonna track down each and every one of
this chat to leave. But I want to end with this particular piece. I find it incredibly moving. It's one of the best pieces in Destiny's musical canon, which Destiny has great music. And for a first-person shooter too, and, you know, first-person shooters tend to, get a bad rap, I think, for music. But obviously, you know, when you talk about Halo, you talk about Destiny, you talk about, you know, even Call of Duty has fantastic music. And I think sometimes it's very easy to put first-person shooters in category because it's a very, I think people view it as like, you know, it's the wheat toast of games. It's always there. It's reliable. You know what it tastes like. It's not necessarily reinventing the wheel, but you know, but this particular piece from Destiny is phenomenal. course, the same thing, the repeated pattern, repeated melody, but there's something about that is so interesting to me that it continues to shift and it never really gets stale, even though it kind of is repetitive in that sense.
Yeah. No. That one was different. I mean, it was certainly repetitive, but they did a good job of changing small things throughout. So it never felt like you were just getting the exact same thing over and over again, I felt like. And then also, I mean, it's these things that we know work, and for some reason we're avoiding in so much of our genre. But I love it so much. It's the Mannheim Steamroller, right? And adding in instruments that make it fuller and fuller, and it just moves on, right? And then I talk to my students about this all the time. This is my favorite thing about music, is if it's done well, I love the feeling like like the music wants me so badly to go with them where they're going, right? Whatever it is, it's like this. And so as a singer, I think I teach my students, you need to sing this like you desperately need everyone to hear what you're saying, just at the core of your being. And when music is played well and music is written well, it does that. It just has this sort of desperation that it just needs you to be a part of it with it. And so I love that piece. And I think that one does it brilliantly, the way it builds and well,
there is something to be said about having high stakes and the importance of high stakes and the importance that music can actually, even if there isn't drama per se, or not knowing the context in the case of this for you, like you hear the high stakes in the music and then that propels it forward. So, the issue of would this context matter? I think context in a visual medium helps, of course, but the context can also be inferred with a piece like this as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. No, I totally get that. Yeah, so cool. What a great stream, man. This was super fun.
Yeah. Listen, thanks a ton, Mark. I'll do my little outro here. Mark, it was really awesome to have you here. Thanks so much. I appreciate it very, very much. And it was great to see you, and I'll see you much more soon. And everybody, if you liked this, feel free to, give it a like, give it a subscribe. I love doing these videos with folks and bringing them on and exposing them to video game music. Obviously, Mark had more experience than others that have come on the channel, but we're grateful all the same.
But lots of new music, and I love that.
Lots of new music, of course. So if you like it, feel free to like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. All right, bye. Oh, we should wave. All right, bye.